Today, we revisit Lonesome Dove, the unforgettable television miniseries that captured the rugged beauty of the Old West and the deep bonds of friendship, loss, and survival. Its sweeping story, brought to life by powerful performances, left audiences with memories that still resonate decades later. But as time has passed, many of the remarkable actors who gave their talent to this classic have sadly left us. Whether they carried a leading role or appeared for just a short time, each one added something unforgettable, a spark of life that stayed in the hearts of viewers long after the screen faded to black. Robert Urich, the American film actor and television producer who won the hearts of millions with his strength, charm, and remarkable versatility, passed away on April 16, 2002, at the young age of 55 after a long and courageous fight against synovial sarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer that he battled for nearly 6 years. In the legendary 1989 miniseries Lonesome Dove, he gave life to the unforgettable character of Jake Spoon, a former Texas Ranger whose charisma and reckless choices led him down a path of both loyalty and regret. Urich's portrayal of Jake was filled with warmth and humanity, showing the complexity of a man torn between freedom and responsibility, and it became one of the highlights of his celebrated career. Away from his roles, Robert Michael Urich was born on December 19, 1946, in Toronto, Ohio, into a Catholic family of Slovak and Russian descent, the son of John and Cecilia Urich. A gifted athlete, he earned a football scholarship to Florida State University, where he studied radio and television communications, later completing a master's degree at Michigan State University in broadcast research and management. Before acting, he worked at WGN-TV in Chicago as a salesman and briefly as a weatherman. But his path changed when his friend Burt Reynolds encouraged him to move to Los Angeles and pursue acting, even offering him a place to stay until he found his footing. From that moment, his career began to soar. His early television appearances led to roles in SWAT, Soap, and Tabitha, but his breakout came as Dan Tana in Vega Dollar, where his strong screen presence and charm earned him 2 Golden Globe nominations. He went on to star in Spencer for Hire, one of his most beloved roles, and throughout his 3-decade career, he appeared in an astonishing 15 television series, an achievement few actors could match. He also made his mark in films like Magnum Force, The Ice Pirates, and Turk 182, while later showing his range on Broadway and Chicago. Behind the fame, Urich's life was defined by family and courage. He married actress Heather Mingus in 1975, and together they adopted 3 children, building a home filled with love. When cancer struck in 1996, Urich continued to work, advocate, and raise funds for research, never allowing the illness to define him. He even established the Robert and Heather Urich Fund for sarcoma research to help others facing the same battle. Though he went into remission for a time, the disease returned in 2001, and his final months were marked by declining health. In his last days, he was hospitalized in Thousand Oaks, California, with respiratory complications, and on April 16, 2002, he passed away peacefully, surrounded by his wife and children. His funeral mass was held 3 days later in North Hollywood, and he was remembered not only as a talented actor, but as a man of kindness, resilience, and dignity. Robert Urich's legacy lives on through his unforgettable roles, especially as Jake Spoon in Lonesome Dove, and through the courage with which he faced life's greatest challenge. He will always be remembered as more than just a star. He was a fighter, a family man, and a voice of inspiration whose light continues to shine long after his passing. Glenne Headly, the beloved American actress whose warmth, intelligence, and remarkable versatility made her one of the most gifted performers of her generation, passed away on June 8, 2017, in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 62 from complications of a pulmonary embolism, a sudden and devastating illness that took her life far too soon while she was still actively working and full of plans for the future. In the landmark 1989 miniseries Lonesome Dove, she earned widespread acclaim and an Emmy nomination for her moving portrayal of Elmira Boot Johnson, the restless and tragic wife of a sheriff who seeks adventure but finds heartbreak, a role that revealed her rare ability to blend tenderness, humor, and vulnerability in a way that touched audiences deeply. Glenne Headly was born on March 13, 1955, in New London, Connecticut, and raised primarily by her mother, Joan Ida Headly, in San Francisco, Greenwich Village, and Pennsylvania, where she developed an early love for the arts and a passion for preserving the natural world. As a child, she studied ballet at the Joffrey Ballet School and modern dance at the Martha Graham Studios, before graduating with honors from New York's High School of Performing Arts as a drama major. Instead of pursuing acting immediately in college, she broadened her horizons by earning a degree in art history and literature from the American College of Switzerland, but soon returned to New York to chase her true dream. Supporting herself as a waitress, she immersed herself in the theater, eventually moving to Chicago, where she joined the Steppenwolf Theater Company and quickly became one of its most luminous stars, winning multiple Joseph Jefferson Awards and a Theater World Award. Her career on stage and screen blossomed quickly, and though she was never one to seek the spotlight, she became unforgettable in every role she touched. Her breakout came opposite Steve Martin and Michael Caine in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels 1988, where her wit and charm stole the show and firmly launched her film career, followed by memorable turns as Tess Trueheart in Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy 1990, the devoted wife in Mr. Holland's Opus 1995, and a wide array of roles in films like Mortal Thoughts, Sergeant Bilko, 2 Days in the Valley, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, The Joneses, and Don John. On television, she earned a second Emmy nomination for Bastard Out of Carolina 1996 and was equally memorable in recurring roles on ER, Encore, and Monk, where she played Trudy's widow, Karen Stottlemyre. Even in her final years, she continued to shine with appearances in The Night Of, The Circle with Tom Hanks and Emma Watson, and the comedy Just Getting Started, which became her final film, while also starring in Hulu's Future Man, a project left unfinished at the time of her sudden death. Known for her unique voice, sharp comedic timing, and natural humanity, she had the rare gift of being both a scene stealer and a deeply grounded actress who elevated everyone around her. In her personal life, Glenne married fellow actor John Malkovich in 1982, though the marriage ended in 1988, and later found lasting love with musician Byron M.C. Kulick, whom she married in 1993 and with whom she had a son, Sterling, who became the center of her world. In her later years, she often turned down roles to remain a present and devoted mother, saying that her family was her greatest joy. Her death was a heartbreaking shock to colleagues, fans, and loved ones alike, cutting short a life still so vibrant and creative. Yet Glenne Headly's legacy lives on in her extraordinary body of work, her unforgettable presence in Lonesome Dove, and the countless lives she touched with her talent, generosity, and grace. She remains remembered not only as a gifted actress, but as a kind and principled soul who gave her all to her craft, to her family, and to life itself. Michael Tylo, the American actor whose charm, depth, and versatility made him a beloved presence across daytime television and beyond, passed away on September 28, 2021, in Henderson, Nevada, at the age of 72, following an illness. Though the cause of death was not publicly disclosed, his passing was deeply mourned by colleagues, students, and fans alike, many of whom remembered him not only for his talent, but for his generosity and kindness. In the iconic 1989 television miniseries Lonesome Dove, Tylo left his mark as D-Boot, bringing grit and authenticity to a story that remains one of the greatest westerns ever filmed. But to soap opera fans, he will forever be remembered as Quinton Chamberlain, the brooding archaeologist on Guiding Light, where his pairing with Lisa Brown's Nola Reardon became one of the show's most adored super couples. His career was rich and varied, spanning All My Children, where he played soldier of fortune Matt Connolly, General Hospital as Charlie Prince, The Young and the Restless as Blade and Rick Bladeson, and The Bold and the Beautiful as Sherman Gale. He even found success outside daytime, delighting audiences as Alcalde Luis Ramon and Zorro, and appearing in primetime hits like Murder, She Wrote, Gabriel's Fire, and A Man Called Hawk. Born Michael Edward Tylo on October 16, 1948, in Detroit, Michigan, he was the only child of Elmer, a plumber, and Margaret Tylo. And though his Midwestern upbringing was modest, his determination carried him to Hollywood, where his good looks, deep voice, and quiet intensity quickly set him apart. Yet behind the camera, his life was one of both joy and sorrow. He married 3 times, first to Deborah Eccles, then to actress Hunter Tylo, with whom he had 3 children, Michael Jr., Isabella, and Katya, before heartbreak struck. In 1998, Katya was diagnosed with a rare eye cancer as an infant, losing her right eye before miraculously recovering. But tragedy struck again in 2007 when 19-year-old Michael Jr. drowned after suffering a seizure, an unbearable loss that changed the family forever. Later, Michael found love again with Rochelle Riker, whom he married in 2010, and together they welcomed 2 daughters, Colette and Jonna, who brought light back into his life. Beyond acting, Tylo poured his heart into teaching. In 2003, he joined the University of Nevada, Las Vegas as a visiting professor, eventually becoming assistant dean for the College of Fine Arts, where he mentored countless students and continued to perform on stage at the Nevada Conservatory Theater. His colleagues remembered him as a man of humor, warmth, and humility, someone who carried a rich career with grace and never forgot to lift others along the way. In his final years, he remained active, even appearing in Stealing Las Vegas, a film produced by UNLV and Roger Corman, and lending his voice as Deathstroke in Nightwing. The series, his death left a deep void in both the entertainment world and academia, but his legacy endures in the timeless roles he brought to life, in the students he inspired, and in the resilience he showed through life's many trials. Michael Tylo was more than just an actor. He was a teacher, a father, a husband, and a man who gave of himself fully, both on and off the screen. His turn in Lonesome Dove will always remind us of his quiet strength, but his true legacy lies in the love he gave his family, the inspiration he offered his students, and the grace with which he lived, even in the face of